Welcome to Programming in Java. So in this session we'll be discussing about abstract class and methods. So what is meant by abstract class and methods in Java? So basically abstraction is a object oriented programming principle by which we can reduce the complexity of a software application and we can show the simple product to the end user. So that's a primary purpose of abstraction. So basically it is a process of hiding the implementation details and showing only functionality to the user. So that is what abstraction. So basically abstraction is like, for example, client, the customer is using a software, for example one software he is using, right? So we'll be giving a one interface here. We'll be giving an interface. So and the functionality will be giving, right? So the client can interact, right? So the functionality of the detailed logic implementation will be done in some other class or in some other component, right? So this abstraction is nothing but like hiding the real implementation and showing only the functionality to the user, so that for the for the customer it look like a very simple to use the system. So that is a primary advantage of abstraction. So for example, in real time you can understand the abstraction. You can take your smartphone and you can, if you want to send a SMS or a WhatsApp message, it is very easy to open the software application and you can type a message and you can just click the send button. But when you click the send button, you don't know what are there are so many in the background, so many functionalities happening, right? It will connect to the server, it will send the message, it will find the contact details, and the message will be deposited. So the message will be get stored in different cloud storage. So there are so many internal details are available. So that details no need to expose to the customer or the client user. So this is what the real life abstraction advantage, right? So how we can implement this abstraction in Java programming? So there are two ways we can implement abstraction. First is abstract class, second one is interface. So first in this video we'll be discussing only about abstract class and methods. So in abstract class there is a flexibility, how much you can hide, how much you can expose, in the how much functionality you want to hide, how much functionality you want to expose. So there is a abstraction level 0 to 100% you can hide. So we can hide 50%, we can hide 100% like that, right? So since it is a flexibility, we can have both abstract methods and non-abstract methods. So let's understand what is abstract class and what is abstract methods and what is non-abstract methods. So abstract class you can create by using an abstract keyword in Java. So basically abstract class means it's a simplified class. There is no detail inside. So abstract means like a simplification, right? So it's a very small simplified class. It has only functionalities, list of functionality, and there is no more detailed implementation. So that is called abstract class. So if you want to create abstract class, you have to use abstract keyword and class name, then the class body you have to write. So this class, when you create this abstract class, it cannot be instantiated. That is very important thing you need to understand. So instantiated means we cannot create object. So object creation is not possible with the abstract class, right? So rather you have to use go for inheritance. Okay, in order to use this abstract class, we have to use inheritance. Let's see one example. Before that, so this is about abstract class, and we have a abstract method also. A method that is declared using abstract keyword is called abstract method. So in abstract method we don't specify any real implementation, detailed implementation we don't write. Usually like this, it ends with a semicolon. So like abstract void some function bracket semicolon. There is no functional body inside abstract method, right? So for example, this is an example of how to design abstract class. You have to use a abstract keyword, class name, and inside we can have abstract methods and non-abstract methods. What is abstract method? We will be using abstract keyword and function. There is no functional logic, the functional body is not available, it will ends with semicolons. So only just a declaration, okay, just a declaration of the function, okay, we are just declaring the function. Non-abstract method means fully implemented class. For example, void sum, we have written the logic how to add these two numbers. The logic is written, but here the logic is not written. How to calculate the square is not written, and how to calculate the cube is not written. So that is a difference between abstract method and non-abstract method. So this is the structure of abstract class. And the basic thing is abstract class cannot be instantiated. Instantiated means we cannot create an object for the abstract class. So the compiler raises error when you try to create an object for an abstract class. The reason is abstract class may contain abstract methods. So calling this abstract method creates conflict, right? So if you call the abstract method, there is no functionality is there, right? So what functionality will be running? There is no functionality is available for abstract method. For example, in this class, abstract class, sample class, we have two abstract methods, square and cube. Okay, so now if I try to create object like this sample class, if I try to create object obj new sample, you will be getting a compiler error saying that cannot instantiate the type sample class. Why? Because of this abstract class, right? Why it is not possible is these two functions are abstract, right? There is no logic inside, so it is not allowing you to create a object. So object creation is not possible. Then how will you use these two functions? How will you use this function? How will you use this function? So it may be a question for you, right? So this you can understand by using, there is another concept is there. So basically the abstract class you cannot create object. So how we can use that abstract classes? The only way to use the abstract classes through inheritance. So abstract class can be extended. Extended means you can do inheritance, you can create subclasses. For example, here I have abstract class sample, and we have a non-abstract methods and abstract method, right? So only way to use this classes, you have to create a class calc extends sample. You have to create another class extends sample class. So now you'll create a subclass, right? So in this subclass, when you create a subclass of an abstract class, all abstract method must be implemented in a subclass. So that is another rule, because we are creating a subclass. So these functions are not implemented in the abstract class, right? So this abstract class force the subclass to do the implementation of these two functions, square function and cube function. So here we have to write the logic for square function, okay, and here we have to write the logic for cube function, okay. So this is called this is where you have to use the abstract class, okay. The abstract class cannot be instantiated. You have to create a subclass, and you have to create a subclass and create an object for subclass. Also, when you create a subclass, you have to implement the logic. All the abstract method must be implemented in the abstract class, okay. So when you implement the abstract method in a subclass, it is also called as method overriding. So usually method overriding is a concept comes in the inheritance, right? So here what we are doing is actually we are overriding the function, the square function and cube function, we are overriding it here. So that's a concept called abstract class. Let's understand this program, this particular concept by using one example program. The same program will execute in Eclipse IDE. So in Eclipse IDE, first I'll create a class src, right click, add a new class. So here I'm going to talk about abstract demo with the main function. So now we have a class abstract demo. So in this class, let's understand what is abstract class. So now we can create abstract class by using abstract keyword class. For example, assume that I have a class called calculator. I have a calculator class. So inside calculator class, I have a function which will calculate the sum of two numbers, int x comma int y. So this will return the sum of two numbers, x plus y. Now in this calculator, I want to create some abstract methods. So for example, I want to calculate the cube of a given number, but I don't want to implement the logic, so I want to keep it as abstract. So abstract means you have to keep this ID, that particular keyword. Similarly, we can create one more function called square. This is another abstract method, square method, okay. So this is called abstract class. If I try to create object for this abstract class, for example, if I try to create object for the calculator class, so now we are getting the error. So see that line number 11, you can see there is a error, cannot instantiate the type calculator. Why? Because this is abstract. So abstract class you cannot create object. If you try to create object, you will get compiler error. Then how will you use this class? The object creation is not possible. Object creation is not possible. So how will you use that class? You need to go for creating subclass. So this is not possible. So we have to create a subclass, advanced calculator extends calculator class. So inside this advanced calculator class, we have to write the logic for these abstract methods. So that is actually another concept, right? So when you create a subclass of a abstract class, all abstract methods should be implemented here in this subclass. So how will you implement? Int cube, find the cube value and return the cube value. So return, you can use a return keyword, x into x into x. Similarly, you can write a square function, you can write, I'll copy and I'll change it. So here you can use square for the given x value. Square you have to 2 times you have to multiply, right? So now it is done. See, abstract class is there and this advanced calculator class is there. So actually the advanced calculator class is providing the logic for this cube and square class. So this abstract class is hiding the logic, right? So it is telling that I can do square cube calculation, I can do square calculation, but it won't expose how I am calculating that functionality, right? Now let's see how we can use this this particular super class, abstract class and this subclass. So the best usage is, what you have to do is, you have to use, first you have to create a super class reference variable. Super class reference variable you have to create variable. So how to use that? What is a super class reference variable is calculator. Calculator is a super class, right? So we have to create a calculator super class reference and store the advanced calculator object. So in inheritance there is a concept called, we can store the subclass object in superclass variable. So that's what we are going to do here. So now we have a calculator superclass reference variable pointing to the subclass object. Now we can do dynamic method dispatch here. So here first one I am going to calculate the sum using this reference dots called sum function 4, 5. The same way you can call cube value for a given number. And square value you have to call, using this reference we can call square for a given number. Now see that here I am using a superclass reference variable. This is a this concept is called, also called as a dynamic method dispatch, right? So here what is happening is dynamic method dispatch. Right, using superclass reference variable we are calling the we are storing the subclass object in superclass reference variable, then we are calling this overriding function. This is called overriding. In superclass we have a cube function, the same function we are writing in a subclass also, that is called overriding. So this overriding function, if you call that, it will take it performs a dynamic method dispatch. Okay, so this is called how to use, this is a program which will explain how to create an abstract class and abstract methods. So when you execute this program, yes, sum is calculated, cube is calculated, square is calculated, we are getting the exact output, right? So this is what abstract class and abstract methods.